Wine. It's simply crushed and fermented grapes. The variations in the stories are what make it so fascinating. There are so many varieties of grapes, and then different clones and different rootstocks. And the stories behind the wines are as lush and beautiful as the wines themselves. Our goal at Fresh Grape Chronicles is to explore and chronicle the grape, its many stories, and its journey from dirt to glass.
Which is a good example of that. My son came up with this idea of producing a wine that would have been 2 centuries, not quite in years, but in a previous century.
Yeah.
And he told me about it, and we started talking about it. I said, "This is absolutely crazy. We have tractors. Why we can do 20 acres and one day, and a horse-drawn can do 1." And he says, "That's the point." And what are you coming up with now? It just drove me nuts. But what he came up with is the process in which we take the winemaking activity and break it down very distinctly into its individual components. And there's the genius of it. And I had to realize that turning the lights out when you're labeling by hand made little or no sense, but it does make sense. So they're hand-picked. The horses are used to mow between the rows. When they pick, they load the buckets into the cart that's brought up to the gravity-fed and hand-sorted. No electricity is used at all. No petroleum or petroleum products. No pneumatics or hydraulics. And so then it's hand-crushed or destemmed. Foot stomped, and then when it's pressed, then they put weights on it rather than a hydraulic cylinder, and then that's pumped using the foot-powered pump. And the fun thing about that is then you have everybody puts their time up who can fill 1 barrel, 62 gallon, and that's fun for the staff, the people that are involved. Last year, B came up with a lame leg one day, and so the 2 couldn't work, so they couldn't bring the it's from over in this section, the bottom of the Percheron. And for that day's harvest, that was done by people. And it wasn't the picking crew, it was the winemaking crew that had to carry those buckets up here.
It was a bucket brigade.
And how many, was it did they do 1 or 2 tons that day?
I thought it was about 160-some buckets.
That'd be well, times 20. So that's about a half a ton.
Oh.
Wow.
I could be wrong about
No.
that.
That's more like a ton. Excuse me. Okay. That's a ton or so. So they carried those up by hand. Then they had to do all the process by hand.
But it was their choice to do that.
Right.
To stick with it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah, no one
bailed on you.
but the old man said that he wouldn't participate.